Hey guys, so we're finally back. This is going to be the last Bleach video as we move on to bigger and better things. We will first get the monthly updates for the month of March and going to the April month. So we're almost there to the mid-March as we embark on the spring break on my channel. I will be focusing my next move for the content for the channel. So as I mentioned before, we know so little about the legs of the Soul King, since the Soul King was basically dismembered into different parts, basically for the ritual that he did to create the three worlds. Now, I mentioned in the past videos about the almighty eyes that the Soul King has, but I think I didn't go to full depths, as well as understanding that the Soul King that was before the primordial days of the Adonais, like the tale of his life, I think that I would love for them to cover more, like the backstory of how the Soul King came to be and what was his life like before he made the ultimate, sacrifice. Now we know that the Soul King resides in the royal palace, and that the connection he has towards hell, I feel as if his legs were banished into hell, or you could even say the legs of the Soul King or the gates that holds the hell realm down. Now, what's weird to me, and I forgot to mention this, is that we see that the hell butterflies has always been very prominent in the Bleach background, but we never got to know where they came from. I think this will be a great opportunity for them to explore more territory when it comes to the Bleach, lore about where the hell butterflies, like how do they partner up with the Shimigami, because it seems as if they're more tied with the Shimigamis and how certain things function. Going back to the very first thing that we saw when the Soul King was basically making the ultimate atonement by sacrificing himself due to the fact that he held all the powers in the universe, and with that power also he could also sustain the worlds that he created. I think what they plan on doing for Core 4, they should definitely find a way where the history of the Soul King and how it ties into Yhwach more. I did mention that in previous videos, which I'll leave the link to the playlist of the Bleach things. I will also mention that Yhwach absorbed Adonais, so in a weird way it almost feels as if he has some of the weakness of his father, because I think that's probably going to be one of the main reasons why he's defeated, because if they could get one of the Soul King's parts to act on its own to reflect the Almighty, which it seems as all of the body of the Soul King, so long they are sentient and they're conscious, they could actually block the Almighty that Yhwach has. So if Yhwach has that resistance in his body, which I mentioned that in the episode Holy Newborn, he absorbed the Soul King upper and lower half, thus completing his transformation to the new Soul King. He also has the weakness parts of that. Now the triple world, which is the technique that the Soul King created, if you look closely, it's actually 4 triple worlds. Now, I'm assuming the limbs of the Soul King, the legs, went straight down to the Hell Realm. But that would make no sense too, which I wanted to mention that to you guys as well. If Yhwach is defeated or killed, let's mention, where would Ichigo's body, like I would say his abilities, the Quincy abilities, do that disappear entirely? Because every Quincy holds inside of them a piece of Yhwach due to the fact that he is considered the father of the Quincy's. So let's think of it that way. And like I said, I mentioned before in my previous video the Exodia effect, which means that the Soul King is almost separated into like these 5 pieces, similar to Exodia, where we know where the left and the right hand could do, We know that the heart is Gerard Valkyrie, which maybe in the future I will make a video about that. Like, when did Gerard became the heart, or was he always like, how did he create his form? That's something I think over time, did when each of those things failed, did they just became sentient or became their separate parts? Also, the noble families and how the connection and how it was very intriguing that one of the nobles actually was the one that suggested that the Soul King should be cut into different parts due to the fear of his powers. So I would love for them to reveal more of the noble families, and that what is their connection towards hell, or is it something else, a different realm where we cannot see, where their bodies are laid to rest. And that could be a good ability too when we think about what the Soul King is capable of if he had all his limbs. I even wanted to mention that Gerard Valkyrie is actually one of the few parts that has the ability of Pernita and Mimi Hagi. And you're gonna be like, how? Well, he's the heart. The heart has two sides, right? All these chambers. So technically, Gerard may have different parts of like abilities of both the stalemate and advancement. Because the advancement ability, I think he transformed that into the miracle, whereas his durability to keep things as it is the ability of stalemate. He still carries that. So if you think about it, Gerard has similar abilities to the left and right hands of the Soul King. And let's not mention Ukitake's sacrifice and how they still keeping him as core 3 finish. And when we get core 4, what would be the prolong of Ukitake's life? I know they plan on doing Kansorese after the 10-year gap. This was mentioned in the manga. But I think this would be very interesting to know where would be the position where the legs of the Soul King is, and how it would connect to the other past things of the Bleach history. And I think the Hell Realm is going to explain a lot of that, especially where the parts of the Soul King went when everything went to, to the new world. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.